Please note, this session is being recorded.
All right. So yesterday we were kind of working on Tableau maps, wherein I was talking about one map service or server basically, which is generally available through open sources. So that you can go ahead and add into background maps. So over here, if you see, by default, Tableau, which is selected. So background maps and Tableau is selected. So what Tableau uses, that OpenStreet, which I was showing the brand name. Now over here it is offline and none. We'll be adding another server here, Tableau, word map server, and then we'll see like how our map background is changed. So we'll simply fetch some of the information, for example, any geolocation. So we can take states as we did yesterday. So geolocation, and then we'll select state. I'll take this map right now. It's OpenStreetMap. Then you can drag state on colors, and then you can put fields, labels, or maybe circles that you can put it on sales. So this is what we created yesterday. Now we have a couple of options as background when I said. So right now it is this one. If you go ahead this, the complete states will change. So this is basically just the heat map as well as these are the marks. So that's the difference between these two. It's by symbol and this is heat map. Now I'll go to map, background maps. Right now we can see like it is the Tableau which is selected by default. We'll go ahead and select offline, and in case we do offline, there is a small difference or very minute difference between offline and the Tableau's default selection, right? Not much difference in the background of this, and this more or less same. Let's go ahead and select none. Let's see what happens. Over here, if you see, as soon as we did none, the map has gone from backend, right, or from the background. It's the only thing what we are getting is that longitude and latitude have been plotted on X and Y axis, and accordingly, all these numbers are coming onto this scatter plot, right? It's not a scatter plot basically. Yeah, it's a kind of a scatter plot only, but simply the coordinates, basically latitude and longitude, which has been plotted. So that's why we see here, and each state has a different coordinate, right? So it's not necessary that it's following the USA geographical map right now, because we have selected none over here in the background maps, right? So for a moment, I'll just go ahead and select offline once again, and then I'll go ahead, as I said that I have already found out one URL. So you can see, if I just cut this off, this is related to one of the NEO NASA website. So they generally create different type of maps, right? So the map which we are going to work on is one of these maps only, right? And what we are focusing on basically word map service. So GOV WMS, right? So this is the list. Basically, this is one of the WMS servers. This is an XML format right now. What we can do is we can just simply take this URL and go ahead and put it into Tableau. So as soon as we go ahead into maps, background maps, map service, add URL, we copy that URL. Okay, it just got added here, and we can close this. If you see here, maps, by default, this one is selected what we have just added. So it's NASA Earth Observation NEO WMS. If we go ahead and choose any other map type, you know that what we are going to get. But in case we select this one, this is the background what we get, right? I think the background what we have, our data doesn't match very well. So what we will do for this problem, we can maybe hide our levels. I don't know what it is coming. Some background image is coming. Okay, let me clean everything and get it once again. So state, and we will go ahead and select map, choose background maps. Okay, so it comes like this. It seems that this map is not perfectly built. There is some image or something is coming in this side. But yes, you can see the background has been changed. You can see the complete, word onto this particular map. It seems the night view of complete geography. Similarly, you can search for different other maps with the different backgrounds, and you can implement those in the backgrounds in order to show. See, we are getting this error. It shows that HTTP bad request, which means because it is live map, what I have just added, there is some connectivity issue. So that's why it is not fetching all the information and it is throwing me HTTP bad request. Right, so you can go for some reliable maps in case you want. Otherwise, generally, as a business requirement, what we get, people don't ask the specific maps. They simply ask the default map provided by the Tableau, which is generally available in offline or Tableau online mode. Right? That's what we have selected just now. So, Smriti and Bio, any question in order to get map server integrated into Tableau? We can look for more servers if you want. But for now, I think this is the one which I got and we implemented. Yesterday we were trying to search, but we didn't get any.
Yeah, got it, sir.
Right? It's a simple process. You can go ahead into background maps and put that URL. Okay. Now, the other thing what we were trying yesterday was related to background images, right? So this is basically for background images, you need to have some kind of, image already created with the defined scale, so that once you use that image in the background, it should completely fulfill. So what I will do for now, I'll just go ahead and Bayari is saying anything?
No.
Okay. So we'll just go ahead and create a kind of map here. Sorry, image here in Excel. So what's the width here? It's 8. Let's do it 8 or maybe 10. Similarly, I'll take the height of these rows also as 10. We Okay, let's take this portion only. What we will do here, maybe column 1, I'm just trying to create one sample image which can be used. Let's say this is on x-axis. For y-axis, I'll just create some numbers starting from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Okay, so this is the image which we have just kind of created. I'll go ahead and cut this. We need to save this into save as picture. You can have any image map of any building like that, but yes, the main thing would matter like how you are creating your scales and how you are going to put this on back end of your scatter plot or some chart. For example, like we did it in case of map, if we remove we went ahead and did none, there was a scatter plot kind of thing. So the same thing here. Now what we would do here, we'll go ahead and put profit on rows or sales onto columns, right? This is the chart which gets created. So x-axis and y-axis, um, similar to this. I mean the image what we have taken. So we'll go ahead and do background images, add sheet. We'll add that image. Right over here, left, right, and bottom and top. So as Smriti mentioned yesterday, that it has to be kind of start from minimum to maximum. That kind of scenario we need to have. So on x-axis, we know that we have taken sales. Over here you can see on x-axis we have sales already selected. Starting from, so left side it will be kind of 0, and right we can take it up to the maximum range. So in our data we have 4 million, right? We can take the similar kind of data here. Let's say if I take 4K, we'll see we can later on change these scales. On y-axis we have profit starting from 0, so bottom will be 0, but top we can take up to whatever we want. So let's say this time we take up to 5K. There are further options like you would like to show entire image always, or you can lock the aspect ratio. We can go ahead and apply and say okay. So in this scenario you can see like there are some changes which have happened, but still we don't see our image here, right? Not yet, which means we need to change the scale a bit. Now here we go, edit, maybe this, because our scales, sorry, data is quite high on sales side. You can see this. Okay, noted profit is around 600K, and this is coming as 400 and 4800K. So for profit 400 and K, let's add one more zero, and this 4800. Okay, this time you have noticed that there is image which is coming, but again against. Okay, let me do one more thing, because this time what happened, my scale went quite high, right? So
Yeah, the
so
axis have changed actually.
yeah, so
You
we'll
can
go ahead
rotate.
and we'll make it fix, and then start from 0, and this we can take it little lesser, so maybe 400K, right? So now the image is completely coming here, but so far we don't see any of our data elements. uh, Let me try to drag something else, because we already have profit and sales plotted. Let's put some other details which can show our products on this particular map. Okay, not good, because generally all the products are here. It doesn't look good actually, so I'll remove it. Sorry, these are the customer IDs. Let's go ahead and put something else. Profit is negative, and that's why everything is coming here. Okay, I'm trying to change quantity into dimension, and then we'll put it. So again, see, you can see like everything is coming here only, because the scale is in millions. Okay, let me change this scale also a bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, fix start. We'll start it from 0, and okay. So if we start from 0, you can see like things got changed. It was minus. It's a huge number in negative. So
So can we do one thing? Can we go to the map and to the background image setting, and there we try to change the profit and sell scale.
uh,
Just
I
try to
will.
invert and I think it will match.
Can you repeat again?
We'll go to maps, then we'll go to background image.
Mhm.
Yeah, then we'll go to edit this one. Then if you see here in X we have sales and Y we have profit. If
Right.
we yeah, but see our profit is more here. We have kept more scale per profit, less scale per sales. I think we need to change that. We can add one more zero to the cells, and maybe we can reduce the profit a little bit. And now we can convert the rows to columns, and I
It
think
would
the
be
profit we can still reduce further. Then we can
right.
make.
Okay. Let's go ahead and image. Reason being, it has a lot of negative in profit. That's why it's creating some problem, and most of the values are towards zero only. So it's not actually zero, but our scale is starting from 0 million, right? Very first million. So that's why. I think it should be fine now. What I have done, I have changed, profit. I have replaced profit with quantity. So I expect it would be not that bad. So I have quantity as sum and then sales. Okay, remove this also. Let's put discount. So now you can see, right? This is still not very clear here, but what's happening? Where has it gone? Okay, yeah, this was the situation which I was talking about. So over here you can see like our image is in background, and the numbers which we have plotted, I mean keeping quality on y-axis and sorry, quantity on y-axis and discount on x-axis. Right, so it is in the background we have taken image, and on top of that we have taken sorry, our scatter plot. So it's not very accurate implementation right now. I mean, it doesn't look, it's not visible properly. But again, similar kind of setup can be done in order to show, proper visualization of these custom charts or using images. See, it's our image is quite small, I think. So you need to kind of play several permutation and combinations, then only it will come properly. Right, your axis, both of the axis should be in sync, and then the image what you are taking. So it is simply as, let's say on a world map, at the place of India you are taking some other country's map, right? So plotting coordinates on image, that's the logic behind this. So our coordinates here are not like latitude or longitude. These coordinates are going to be our data element. For example, in this scenario, quantity and discount. So these both are making the coordinates for this particular image, and we are plotting their distribution on this image. Okay. Is logic clear, or is it helping you?
Yes, Satya. But under what business scenario will think of using this?
Okay, so it's very clear that it will not be used in case of geomaps, right? Very rare scenarios, for example, let's say, I mean, I saw one implementation wherein we were trying to create a custom path. Custom path, basically, we were trying to show a path and the people on different, you know, capacity. So, for example, uh, in a building, let's say there are number of rooms, right? And each room might have a different capacity of people, right? So in our data we will have room against that capacity of people in that room, that how these many people can get accommodated in that room. So what we did, we plotted those yeah, on the image we created those rooms as a column, right? So like column 1, column 2, column 3, I had room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4. And because I had number of people which can get accommodated into these particular rooms, so I plotted those people number, the number of people on y-axis. So against each room, we were getting a dot over here. So that used to just show that this room can accommodate these many people, right? That was a simple implementation. There are many other better charts or charts available for this particular requirement, but the specific ask was that we want to show it like this, so we did it, right? The custom, like keeping image in the backend.
Okay.
Right. I'll look for more examples. I can share the URLs or their description so that you can see where it can be implemented. But yeah, very frankly, it's a very rare you will get such a requirement. Generally people see sales profit or number of patients, depending on the business, right? They see for the territory wise, and as soon as they say territory, you need to go through these maps only, right? Okay, now we have worked on parameters and calculated fields much. So there is one concept of called sheet selector or hiding your sheet. So basically what happens, like this is another alternate way by using which you can reduce or manage the real estate on your dashboard. So what happens, like let's say there are two sheets, and you want user to see one sheet at a time, right? So the better would be like whatever option user selects in parameter, only that sheet should appear and other sheet should go hidden. That kind of implementation we do in Tableau or on a particular sheet. So what I will do, I'll just create two sheets here. Let's say I'll call it maybe sheet A Then we'll take another sheet, maybe sheet B. So the logic will remain simple as we generally do in case of parameters. We'll go ahead and create string. We can take as a list, name it as maybe A or B for now. Okay, let me change the name of this parameter. We'll call it sheet selector and add it here. Now with each parameter we need to create one calculated field. So we'll add one calculated field here. We'll say sheet display or sheet selector, whatever name you want to say. And over here I'll show simple values as if my parameter called sheet selector has A, then maybe A, else B, and end. As simple as this. We just took two values here. Now we'll drag this sheet display field on filters pane, right? For sheet B, okay. Because it is sheet B right now, what I will do, I'll select B, and then over here we'll select B. In sheet A, we'll drag that parameter again, and we'll select A, and this time I will drag sheet display and we select A. So what is happening? On sheet A, I have selected A and selected A as a value in this particular filter. For B, I selected B over here and then I selected B into this field, right? Because it's the same parameter. So at a time you can select only one value. So for example, right now we selected A. So A will appear on both the sheets. However, in the filters, we have a different values. So for sheet B, it is B. For sheet A, it is A. So I'll keep selecting A over here and then I'll create some visualization. Say quantity, and then we'll take some cities. Okay, I wanted to take city, not current years. City. Okay, so on sheet A, we have taken city and quantity. On sheet B, first of all, I'll select B over here and we'll take maybe products. Yeah. So product name, and then we'll take maybe, let's say, profit over here, and we'll sort this. Over here on sheet B, we have sum of profit and product name, whereas on sheet A, I have city and quantity. So what happens, right? This is the same parameter which is being used on both the sheets. So whatever value we select here, let's say if I'm selecting B, however, in this particular filter here, I have A, which I marked at that time. whatever visualization we created on this sheet will not be visible. It will be hidden. Now, at this moment, because B is selected over here, if you go to sheet B, you will see that visualization, right? Vice versa, if I change this B into A, so anything on sheet B will go invisible and things on A will appear, right? So at this moment, what we are able to achieve, like at a time, only the data on a particular sheet will appear. The data from other sheets will not be shown to the users, right? How we can leverage this? This can be leveraged on dashboards. So for example, this is the dashboard which I just created. Another sheet for dashboard. Over here, we can just drag some containers. So these are the objects under here. We'll go in details about all of these items. Let's say I have this horizontal container, and over here we'll drag our sheets, for example, sheet A and then sheet B. We drag both the sheets, right? Now this is the parameter what I have. I'll just make it float so that it looks like this. We can have, right? We can have this. So you can see at a time only one sheet visibles properly. The other goes hidden. Now, little more, I'll just hide the title of both the sheets. So what would happen? Because earlier title was taking that space. So now I have my parameter, and because I selected one, I have only one sheet visible, right? And there is no sign of other sheet at this moment. If I select B, the opposite happens. I have products, their profit. If I select A, I have cities and the quantity. So using this parameter, I'm able to interact between two sheets, and whatever I select, I'm able to show one sheet at a time. Any doubts, any questions in these steps? Smriti, Byron, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me the use case, I mean, where this can be used? Apart from, right now I'm taking just the example of profit versus quantity for cities and products. Some other use case where this can be implemented?
Well, when both the things are mutually exclusive, that point of time I can switch between.
Yeah, we can do that, but any specific use case? I mean, just an example. Any example? Okay, there could be scenario, right? There is the same data, but what business wants, like if they select pie, they should be able to see pie chart, right? Or if they want bar, they can see the bar chart on the same data, right? In that case also, this can be used. So you can create one pie chart, and on another sheet you can create bar charts, and depending on this parameter selection you can show whichever they choose.
Yes.
right? Okay. Now let's go ahead and I was talking about one day like we can connect to APIs and get data here. So I'll show you on Google. If you search, you will find Tableau data connector. Sorry, web data connectors. There are many vendors or third-party people who create, these web data connectors for Twitter, Facebook, and all. So you can get those also. Or let me mm, it's related to create, like how you can create a one. Creating means you can, if you know the development, like how to create APIs and all, that you can, do using this. But I don't want to develop a API right now. I just want to use a sample API, which is already available. So Tableau Junkie. Okay, so what this guy says that he has already created web data connector, which is currently hosted on his personal Amazon server at this address. If you want, you can test. So basically, this is the URL which you can use to see the data feed. So this is the public web data connector what he has used. This is nothing but kind of API what they have developed using Twitter, development kit. So you can also create your own if you know a little bit about how to create APIs and all, right? I'll go ahead and copy this URL and put it into our Tableau. We'll go ahead here, add new connection, and then web data connector. We need to use the same URL. If it is working, it will start fetching the data. Okay. Search for keywords. So it seems that he has created this API with one particular parameter. Now, right now, it says that enter the search term. We'll put, let's say, at the place of Tableau, I will search for COVID-19 and search Twitter. What it will do, it will look for all tweets or all information related to COVID-19 through his files, what he has created, and show those here. So let's see if we get any information. It is connecting to the API what he has created and looking for this COVID-19 keyword. If he would have any tweets, any records related to this, it will fetch. The limitation with web APIs is they always connect to extract, which means until unless they will not refresh their data, new tweets will not come into Tableau. So they need to refresh their data and then automatically new tweets, because it is related to Twitter, new tweets will come in. And
But here the volume will be huge, right? How will you manage that?
See, volume will be huge, I know, but again, see, it depends. It depends on your profile, right? The person who is creating this API. Because what happens, Twitter will not allow you to, scan through all the tweets of different people. It will allow you to scan through only those tweets which are done on your timeline or on your profile. Are you getting?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Because if you are able to scan through all the tweets of all the people, either you need to have a business account, or if you're doing it through personal account, it will be a data breach.
yeah.
Right. So that would be a data security issue. So that's why this Tableau or all the social media, platforms, they don't allow. So over here, if you see, we have got some tweets. Source text, it says this is in all languages right now, including Hindi, English, Chinese, Japanese, whatever it is. But it will have this COVID-19 keywords and basis that it has searched it. Then you have status ID, not sure what exactly it is. Then favorite count, maybe number of likes and all. The language, retweet counts, like how many times it's been retweet has been done. Okay, so there is, for some it is good number. Then source, exactly how it has been done, like iPad, Android, like how they have done it. Username, the person who has done this tweet. User ID, so it is, I think, Twitter's internal ID because it is in numerical format right now. Then user description, basically the title of user, what they put in their profile. Then follower count, so basically the person who has put it, how many followers they have. Profile image, URL, then screen name, time zone, location where they have done this tweet from, user URL, user statuses count, not sure what exactly it is, but user statuses count. Maybe how many times they logged in, not sure. But latitude, longitude, it is null over here, but you have, location basis which you can, plot, do some kind of, geographical mapping. So this is the good data which you have got, right? Now if you go ahead into your sheet, I have just clicked on that sheet so that I can move and fetch some of these records into visualization.
So if they are using this, we can connect to any API. I mean, as it if we have permission.
See, that's what I'm saying. You can go ahead and create your own Twitter app also. When I say app, basically API. Okay. As soon as you will go to this URL and log in with your Twitter account, you will get a specific application setting, basically the username and password for. There would be a token, API token, right? You can you can create a Twitter API of your own, deploy it somewhere, and then you will be able to see all the tweets from your profile. Right now, the tweets what we are getting, the information we are getting, it is coming from the person who has created it. It was open, so we got it. Right. The
Yeah,
same thing, you can use your credentials and create another API, and then you will be able to fetch records basis your profile. Not only Twitter, or even Facebook provides that. Insta, I'm pretty sure they will also be providing, but I don't know because we don't get comments over there. It's mostly images and all. So, but yes, for this you need to know how to develop APIs, right? You the backend experience, development experience you need to have, right? In web development, you must have what, right? Front end developer and backend developer. So all the backend developer or the people who work on REST APIs will know this, like how to create APIs and all. Okay, I'm back here on my sheet. We'll remove this filter, and now you will see all the fields. So over here, you can do one analytics related to source. Source basically, yeah, what device was used in order to create or do these tweets. See over here, some of their bots also they're tweeting. Now you can just fetch um, number of records over here. You will know their volume. So you can see, like, let me just show the percentage. It will tell that percentage of total and show levels. So you can see 46% of the population is only using Android out of this data, whereas 30% of people are for iPhones and 16% people use web application, maybe laptop or desktop, in order to access Twitter. 2% people are around 3% people are using iPad, and then I don't know what is TweetDeck. I don't know. I never heard. So these are the major media which is being used in order to access Twitter and do the tweets. Similarly, you can create another visualization to show uh, the person who has done a lot of tweets. So maybe username you can drag, and then you can take maybe by different other statistics like number of followers, number of status counts, or retweet counts on their particular tweet. So things like this can be represented. If I go ahead and change something like this, I basically want to select table. I wanted to have a heat map, but it's not working right now. Let's drag some. We have follower count, we have status count, we have retweets count. Okay. We sorted by retweet counts. Yeah. Now I think this is in the better format. So open letters has the maximum user status count, then retweet count and user followings. So basically this is a visualization. You can do anything over here. The main point of showing this was how to show the connectivity through APIs using web data connectivity or web data connector. Right? It will appear exactly the same. All other elements will be same here. You cannot create any filters and anything on the data tab. All the filters will be allowed once you are inside the sheet. You can create all calculated fields inside of it. You can do all the parameter, subset, group, whatever you want to create. All other things are possible. The only thing as a restriction or limitation over here with API connectivity is you can only connect to extract. You will not have live connectivity. You cannot create filters over here. You cannot see that data the way you can see data preview in terms of tables or Excel. Yes, though you can see rest of the things over here and do some kind of customization if you wish. You can do that here. Right? Any questions here? The connectivity with this?
No.
Bio, any doubts?
So no.
Okay. Now there is one more connectivity similar to APIs. We were using this web data connector. There is another connectivity is called OData, right? That is similar to API, but it is not exactly API. Over here also you use URLs only. So I'll go ahead and look for some OData resource. I shared one WHO data. So I believe we had OData connectivity here. Okay, let me see exactly what URL I shared. I'm looking into the WhatsApp group what I sent earlier with the sources. Okay, GHO OData API. So it was www dot who dot and okay, we need to search for GHO data API. Data APIs. Okay, so about OData protocols, you can so these are the again API kind of thing, which is made available by WHO in order to consume this data by many partners or normal public. So they have given some of the details over here. How can you get more value out of these APIs? So for example, like they have given one till here, till API, right? Starting from HTTPS till here, it is your API URL. And last keyword is basically the parameter what you are passing in order to get the results out of this API. So if I use this API, let's see what it returns. As per example, it says it will show you all the dimensions, right? We'll go ahead to data, new data source, OData. Because it is public API, no username, password, or authentication required. I'll say sign in. Bad OData format, make sure you are using URL that points to a valid OData. Let me try these. I mean, some of these I tried earlier, they were working. So, OData. This is the one which I tested. Hmm. This one is working, but not sure why others are not working. We can take others also, retrieving indicator data, filtering data. They're using in Power BI also, giving some examples. But yes, over here, if you see, this was the URL which I pasted. Okay. It says filter contains indicator name and household. So basically, we have applied this filter and looking for only these values. So for a moment, let's just change this. I don't want to just get the data of these two. If I say indicator, we cut this, let's see what it returns. Okay, so it's returning all the fields whichever this data source would have, but it will not filter the data only for those two categories like household and the next value what we put. We can go to sheet, and over here if you see, this was the connection which we just created, indicators, and these are the fields basically which are coming out of this data. Indicator code, indicator name, language, measure name, and then you have number of records. So nothing else is specific, only these three fields. So indicator code, these are the different codes. I'm not sure what exactly it is. Then indicator names. It seems some description. And the language, English, fine. What is there in the measure name? No measure values, okay. I think it is the normal field of Tableau. Okay, fine. So mainly if you see only three fields we have got out of this API, which is indicator code, indicator name, and language, right? So these are the different ways of getting data into Tableau without connecting to your actual database, right? We created APIs, and primarily we are just consuming the already created APIs here and getting data into it, right? So what are the benefits of creating APIs and then getting data? Any idea? What is the advantage over these connections versus the connections we were doing earlier? Another question could be like nowadays, if you see, mostly all the applications they are going towards REST API or microservice architecture, right? There is the same logic, similar logic, I would say, not 100% same, but similar logic. Because this REST API mechanism puts additional layer of security over your applications. so that you can, put another security layer. People who are connecting, trying to fetch data, will not be directly connecting to your data source. They'll be connecting to this API. And through this API, they can fetch data wherever they want, if proper authentication is provided, right? That, does that make sense?
Oh, Satya, can you please come again on that?
Yeah, yeah. I was just trying to explain that why API connectivity is promoted nowadays. Why all the applications, or all the application mostly, they're looking for REST API and microservice architecture. Because now earlier, what used to happen, like let's say you're developing a login application or employee application, you were directly putting the credentials into code itself, so that you can directly connect to your database and start working. But now what happens, your API development happens separately and your UI development happens separately. So front end and back end. What we are trying to do is we are trying to create another layer of security, so that anybody who's trying to log in, anybody who's trying to fetch data, they will not directly hit your database. They will connect to these APIs, and as a next step, these APIs will connect to the database, right? So what happens? There is additional layer of security and dynamic, security layer like JWT tokens. The token type of mechanism can be implemented. So what happens? Like all the application which you log in nowadays, they generate OTP, right? OTPs are what? These are the security codes which are dynamically generated. And in order to generate those codes, one type passwords, they use these APIs only. APIs are kind of query. They generate. They have some logic, business logic. They generate these codes and send it to the required number, so that we can make sure that the right person is logging in the right place. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put some of the things on dashboard properly. So far, we just tried to create some of the things, but uh, okay. One more thing before I go here. On these sheets, whatever we have created so far, you can see like whichever sheet I'm going to, there are few things which I'm able to see and few things I'm not. For example, these are the filters. Okay. These filters will not necessarily appear everywhere, right? Filters will appear only on those sheets where they have been applied, right? Even here, I don't think we have a group and set here right now, but the groups and set what we created, anything what we create over here on the data pane will be available for all the sheets. So whether it is set, bin, groups or parameters, it will be applicable to all the sheets as well as all the data sources. Sorry, not all the data sources. Parameters will be applicable to all the data sources. So right now I'm into that OData API. If I go to Twitter connection, still you can see all these parameters. But the other two things which I was talking about, like calculated field, bins, groups, and sets, they will not be available for other data sets. Because in order to create those things, we used specific fields or data elements related to that particular data source. Because I'm on another data source, those fields will not be there, right? So that's a kind of difference between what is available for the entire workbook, what is available to a specific sheet, and what is available to a specific data source. I'll For now, I'll just close this connection because I don't want my sheet to be heavy. Okay, so I'm only connected to our results data. Now I'll go ahead and add another sheet called dashboard. Now over here you will find similar kind of option as you had in the sheet, but the difference is on one dashboard you can bring multiple sheets, right? So far we worked on these many sheets. All of those sheets are appearing here. We can fetch all those sheets here into the dashboard, right? Another thing what dashboard provides, it on this dashboard pane, basically you can create dashboard specific to your devices. For example, I selected phone. So whatever I create here, I'll be able to open this properly in my phone or handheld devices, right? Then the layout you can edit by your own, some other options are there. I'll be in default right now. Then the size of this dashboard you can control. Size of dashboard means height, width, that you can change. So automatic will resize to any particular screen. But what I generally choose, I choose as fixed size or range. So I'll be choosing fixed size. I mean, that is what I do most of the time. And in fixed size, I'll take width of 1300 because that suits good to my laptop, right? Because as soon as I go to the full screen, I don't see the scroll bar. Another thing for width, sorry, height, you can take it, starting from any number. Depending on the items, you can go up to. So we take 1200 and all. I mean, it is easy to scroll vertically, but little difficult to scroll horizontally. So that's why, height wise, we can compromise. But on width side, we can take it whatever suits best to the machine what we are using. Then we have some of the objects here like horizontal, vertical. These are the containers. Web page, you can provide the link to any web page. Blank will be, it will be again a kind of container wherein you can put anything. Then buttons are there. You can provide links. Extensions are there. Images, you can import images. You can write text, right? So these are the objects what you can use inside a dashboard. And then you have tiled and floating, these two layouts. So basically, let's say if tile is selected, I go ahead and add any sheet here. What happens? The sheet will be, let's take some other sheet, right? So what will happen? That sheet will automatically occupy the maximum area on the sheet. Whatever is feasible or whatever is possible, it will take the maximum area automatically if it is tiled. But as soon as if I select float and then drag anything, so what would happen? See, it was floating, and over here it just came into the small area, and I'm able to put it anywhere I want in the complete page, right? So I'll just give you one more example. Let's say if tile is selected, what would happen? This is candle, this is heat map, this is dual chart, this is donut chart, this is bar dual chart. So what is happening? I kept dragging those things onto dashboard, and automatically these things are adjusting, right? They are trying to occupy the maximum area what they are able to do. But if I would like to kind of move things from one place to another, I need to struggle a lot. I need to adjust things. I'll adjust one, other things can get disturbed. That's a challenge what I generally face while taking things as child, right? There are people who are very comfortable with this approach. Frankly speaking, I'm not. What I prefer, I prefer taking it as float. So I'll just kind of remove everything from here, and okay, I deleted all the containers and content from this dashboard. Now if I select floating and then I try to drag things, what would happen? These things will just be at a particular location where they are being dropped. I know it looks hodgepodge right now. It's not looking good because we are just dragging it on top of each other. But once you have dragged everything, you can start setting them. You can just go ahead and put it wherever you want, right? You can easily adjust these things as per your own desire. It's not that fast that these things will automatically kind of accommodate, but you can arrange things the way you want. Little slow, but you can comfortably, kind of arrange objects. Okay, we can try to give it a actual requirement what we were doing. So I'll go ahead and remove everything once again. First of all, I will add dashboard title. Over here, we can say sample superstore summary. Now for this, let me do a middle alignment. With that, you can go ahead and format this further. Format title. You can provide some background, create border. So my title is set now. For this particular body area, I will go ahead and into layout, will select border. So this is how it will appear now, right? By scroll, you can see the complete picture on your dashboard. Now we'll start dragging things one by one. So let me drag maybe donut first of all. I have selected floating. I have and will drag it over here. Now for this, I will arrange it like this according to border. Increase the size a little bit, and this is the legend. So we'll see like how we'll accommodate it, right? So far we took one sheet here, which has two excesses right now. What I will do, we can just get rid of this excesses by clicking on show header. Uncheck this. Another thing, I'll go ahead and say fit. Okay, it is already entire view, which means okay, we need to do something for this. I'll just go to the sheet. What's the problem? Okay, it's coming to the top. So we need to kind of change some access properties. Access, in order to change access, we'll say show header. Okay, or let's see, take count. What happens in that? I'll change the axis a bit. Right now it is starting from 0 and going up to 1.4. We'll say start from 0 and go up to maybe 1 point or maybe 2. Okay, so over here also, now it is coming to center and it will be easy for us to show onto dashboard, because earlier it was, yeah, we'll go to our dashboard. So this comes like this. We might need to increase a bit. Yes. And for title of this chart, we'll say format title. I'll take border. We'll have some header over here. Sorry, not for the border. Border will take black only. Shading will take some other color. For example, maybe this. And over here we can format it, middle alignment. Font we can take up to 12, whichever suits better. Still the size looks little bigger to me. I'll go here, all size. Okay, we should be good now. Yeah. Now, this is the legend which we are left with. There are a number of ways you can put it into dashboard, right? First of all, let me just align this region. If you want, you can directly put it like this itself on side of it, so that it will appear on with this donut. There is other way to align this would be, you can go ahead and say arrange items in a single row, and then you will see that same legend into a row. Earlier it was in vertical shape, now it is coming as in row format, and you can have it like this and put it into the bottom of your donut. So this is another representation through which you can see like this. Now, what another thing which I prefer, like I generally try to put the format of cells to my all of visualizations. Okay, so if you see like this, your dashboard first object will appear like this: donut and donut chart. We can go ahead and drag the another object, maybe forecast if you wish, or let's say candle. If I want to do candle, it was in the same floating nature, but this time, okay, how can you make the same height for this particular object? Go to layout, select your first object, you will see the coordinates where it is starting from 12th. This is the vertical height 53, and this is the width, and this is the height. So even for this, I would like to take the similar vertical height and height. I mean, this y coordinate and height I would like to keep same. So 53, 50, both are starting from 53. Height is also 281. Good. Now, looking at this particular chart, maybe I would like to occupy the complete space here. And maybe I don't need this headers. I can hide this. I don't need this field also. For title, we'll take the similar kind of formatting. Shading, this. We'll go here. We'll say middle alignment, central alignment, 12. And this. And as I said earlier, that I would like to have a kind of formatting, border formatting for this. We'll go ahead and apply. See, this is the presentation layer. So far, we have been creating kind of dash small charts, but this is the presentation layer which is going to be shown to the end user. So you need to be very clear that what exactly you show, right? Maybe if you wish, you can put it here. So in this case, it was starting from 12. This starting from 13. So I need to move it 1 point. So it will start from 12 to fine. I can drag another object here. Maybe we can take, okay, let me drag this. Shruti Bhai, please keep asking questions if you have here, because this thing is going to be little time taking as we are trying to put things on dashboard on the presentation layer.
Sure.
Right? Two objects. This forecasting indicator. So if you want, you can put it. Otherwise, you can remove it. Choice is yours. So, but for now, I'll just put it into central alignment and put it here, so that the people who are looking at it, at the chart, they will know that what exactly it is, what they're looking at. Now, if you think forecasting is too long, it is occupying a lot of space, we can reduce it and take some other component here.
So how many sheets can we put on a dashboard?
It depends on the requirement, but yeah, the best practice would be like don't overcrowd it. If it looks overcrowded, we can always create multiple dashboards, right? And again, it depends on the requirement what you get. But for the best practice, it is recommended that it should not look overcrowded. All the information what you are putting should be clear to the users.
And so for creating a dashboard, the floating option is better than the tile, or that's you prefer the floating?
Yeah, see, that's the reason I prefer floating, because see, I know like it takes little more time to adjust things on a dashboard. But kind of, since when I started working, I'm more comfortable, because though it is slow, but it gives, we can, adjust everything properly one by one. We can focus on each component and completely work on it. But in case of, what happens in case of tiles, you adjust one, the other things gets disturbed. The reason being, all the objects will try to accommodate or occupy the maximum space. So that's why I'm more comfortable with this approach. Once you will start working, you can see which one you are comfortable.
Okay.
It is slower. I mean, I would agree that this approach is slower because it takes a little more time compared to tiles. See, we put three things here. In case if it looks overcrowded, we can always remove something from here, but we can show it. Now, we can put more objects as we go. I would like to just add one more chart and then would like to show other features of this dashboard. There we have map. Okay, don't we have map? This is the only map we have. Image, sorry, this one. Okay, let me just make it a little better. Circle, size of sales, color by state. And then labels. Fine. We'll drag this onto the chart, onto the dashboard. Add to dashboard. Now, few people may follow like put the map on the top, right? Even I think that that is a better approach because it shows business leaders the top priority, like how many states are doing good, what is the actual status. Dashboard should have the complete navigation. If you know like how to give a proper navigation to the dashboard or your elements, then dashboard looks better. So for example, these many items we have here. What happened to this? Okay, right. So on dashboard we have 5 elements right now. Now in dashboard, on each sheet you will find this funnel icon. It says use as filter. Sorry, use as filter. Even on this, use as filter. So what I will do for now, I'll select on map, use as filter, and I will select donut chart, use as filter, and I will go to bubbles and I will say use as filter, right? So for 3 charts, I selected use as filter. The beauty of this filter would be like as soon as I go ahead and select a particular element here on donut. So for example, this is my central region. If I select this, what would happen? All other charts will get filtered for central region. So over here in the map, you can see only the elements which are in central region, they appear. This particular chart shows only those items which were sold in central region. Forecasting, it got changed for central region. And over here also, these are those states only which shows central region, right? On top of this, let's say if I double click, it will go back to original state. I can select west region. The map you can see here, bubble chart you can see here, everything will get filtered for that particular region. If it is south, south region, Florida and all, you will see here, right? Same goes with this, New York City. If I select this, everything will get filtered for New York City, right? So only New York City on the map, things sold in New York City, forecasting for New York City, and the donut is again only for New York City. East region, New York City, right? Seattle. This is from West region, forecasting, donut, everything. I mean, as many objects you drag it here, everything will get filtered for these particular objects what you're selecting, right? Any questions so far, what we did? Smriti, Bio, any questions?
No question till when I practice it.
Yeah.
So we should always have similar kind of charts onto a dashboard so that we can use common filters across reports, or by default
Um,
Tableau will take care of.
no, no. So when you say similar charts, what exactly you mean?
Let's say here when we went by city,
Mhm.
um, okay, the city is a part of hierarchy, so the segments or the regions were selected automatically. But
Mhm.
uh, let's say, yeah, when we selected one particular region, let's say east or central or something,
Mhm.
okay, that is also part of the hierarchy. I mean, the way it is drilling down and drilling through, it is
Mhm.
possible only in hierarchy kind of objects, right? If you filter on some hierarchy element. But let's say if you would have randomly filtered on some major values, then I mean all these reports, these are related reports, like
Okay. Okay.
saying similar kind of thing. So
Okay.
it is
See
making
here.
much sense.
Okay. I mean, I got your point. Actually, it doesn't work like that. Let me, I'm not sure whether I selected this as a filter. Let me select this as a filter. Okay. Here, in this particular sheet, candle one, I don't have state, city, region, country, anything. Or do I?
No.
No, right? Now, copiers has the maximum sales and profit both. Okay. Profit, I don't know, but sales it has maximum around 3 lakhs. I select this bar right now. Okay. What happened? It filtered everything and it's telling me all those states where copiers have been sold, all those cities where copiers been sold, the forecasting depending on the date of copiers, and all those regions where copier is being sold and what is their sales amount, right? So it is not that field should be a part of hierarchy. Yes, it should be part of same data set in case you are trying to put sheets here coming from different data sources. When I say different data sources, in one workbook we can have sheets using different data sources, right? Like we created one from Twitter, one from this result. So if we drag those sheets here, one from Twitter's data source, one from this, there has to be some common field. Likewise, join, right? We need to have one common field to join two data sets. So if you have two data sets or sheets coming from two different data sources and have a common field, you can join them basis that field and apply these filters. But if there is nothing common between two sheets, obviously the filter will not work. If it is same data source, it will automatically work. You need not to be worried about it, right?
Okay,
So
so these filters gets applied on the data source level actually.
data
The
source level,
dashboard filters.
yes, yes, right.
But Satya, how about let's say in a report which we are using in the dashboard and we have built that report using data blending.
Mhm.
In that case, will this work?
That's what I'm saying. If you have a common field, right? Let's say data building you already created, right? And after that you are getting sheets on the dashboard, which means already there is a relationship which is built on data source level. Getting? if
Yes.
you have if you have a relationship already built on the data source level, that thing will work here automatically. You need not to be worried about. Tableau will handle automatically, right?
Okay.
Tableau gives you feature in order to further work on that relationship, right? And how you can work on that relationship, I'll tell you now. So if you go here, dashboards, we are on dashboard. I'm going to dashboard. Over here, we have this option called actions, right? And the filters what we have applied just now are known as action filters. So this use as a filter option is part of your action filters. So over here, actions. And so far we created 4 filters. One from donut, one from bubble chart, one from map, and one from candle, right? So far we have not selected forecasting sheet as a filter. So all the 4 filters what we created by clicking on that funnel icon have been generated here automatically. If you want to see and edit it, you can go and see that what exactly it is doing. Edit. So what it does, filter number 1, if you select sheet 21, which was our map, sheet 21, it is taking that sheet as source, and after that anything in the dashboard one, all other sheets whatever it is selected here, right, will get filtered out. Let's say you don't want forecasting sheet to be impacted because of the filter selection into this sheet, you can uncheck it, right? Now if you go ahead and select anything in maps, nothing will change in forecasting tab, right? So that you can apply here. Again, to your question, like let's say if you want to make it a field specific, like city, region, or anything. So right now over here you can see it is selected all fields. If you want to make it field specific, you can go ahead and add a particular field, whichever field you want. So if you select city, then only it will filter. If you select anything else, it will not filter. So these controls are there. You can work on these controls and see the filter operations. One more thing, right now this select option is kind of selected by default. We have mouse hover or menu as well. If I say and hover and click OK, now what would happen? As soon as I go into this maps, right, I will not click. I'll simply put my mouse on a particular object. Okay, nothing happened. Was it saved? Not. Filter 1, edit, sheet 1. Okay, selected fields. We have selected this option, but we have not selected any field. I'll say all fields. Okay. We'll go back to presentation, and now this time you see. Okay. I'm not clicking, I'm just putting my mouse on different areas. You can see the impact, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, changing forecast basically doesn't mean because we might not have this good data for all the kind of fields. So I'll uncheck this, right? On target sheets, I'll uncheck forecasting and we'll go ahead and do OK. Full screen. So now, if you see, all other things are changing except forecast. Forecast is not changing. Okay, now I'll go back again into the same actions. So over here for a particular filter, you had these many options. Now over here, it shows dashboard one because I have only one dashboard right now in the workbook. You can have multiple dashboards and all those dashboards will appear here. Okay, so which means there is a chance or opportunity that if you select a particular object here in dashboard 1, you can filter out objects in dashboard 2, 3, or 4, any dashboard, right? Selecting one object in one dashboard can impact your other dashboards also. That feature is available. Okay, Tableau gives you that feature. Uh, we'll go ahead and create several kind of more visualization. Tomorrow we'll focus on LOD first of all, and then we'll create other dashboards related to this. Okay, any question before we drop today?
No, Satya. I'm good.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I just forgot. So tomorrow's session, first of all, maybe half an hour we will take on the assignments. We'll work on assignments for both of you, and then we'll move to LOD and dashboards. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Okay. Bye bye. Bye everyone.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Yeah.
Mm.
Bye.